They say when a woman cries, the earth remembers. But when her cries are buried in silence, the earth trembles for generations. This is the story of Nnenna Okafor, a woman whose life became a parable, whose choices shook villages and cities alike, and whose tears watered a lesson that no man, woman, priest, or prostitute can ever forget. Long before anyone called her Chief Obidike's wife, Nnenna was just a barefoot girl who ran through the dusty paths of Umuk village, carrying dreams bigger than the sky. Her skin was the deep brown of roasted groundnut, her hair thick and long, her eyes. They carried both fire and sorrow, as though heaven had poured two storms into one soul. She was the first in her family to finish primary school, and her dream was simple, to become a teacher. To her, teaching was not just about books. It was freedom. It was standing before a class of children, telling them that ignorance was not their inheritance. But in Umuk, poverty did not knock, it lived inside every compound. Her father, Okafor the palm wine tapper, was known for climbing the tallest palm trees with nothing but a rope around his waist. One morning, he drank from his own gourd and never woke up. Some whispered that enemies poisoned him. Others said the gods were angry. Whatever the truth was, his death left the family broken. Her mother, Mama Ifioma, bent her back in the market, frying akara by day, roasting corn by night. But hunger was a stubborn visitor in their home. Nnenna's younger siblings often went to bed with empty stomachs. At 17, when other girls still dreamed of love, Nnenna's mother whispered to her in the dark, "My daughter, your beauty is our only dowry. Chief Obidike has asked for your hand. He is rich. He will save this family." Nnenna wept. She wanted to teach. She wanted to study. But poverty is a merciless judge. The next week, she was married to a man twice her age. That was the first night she buried her dreams alive. Enugu city was nothing like Umuk. The first time Nnenna saw the tall buildings, she thought they touched the heavens. Chief Obidike's mansion had gates taller than the palm trees her father once climbed. At first, she thought her suffering was over. But gold can also be a cage. Obidike was powerful, respected in public, feared in private. He controlled businesses, politicians, even policemen. At village meetings, people bowed when he entered. But at home, his voice was thunder and his hands were whips. When she once asked him about going back to school, he roared, "A woman's school is her husband's kitchen. Books don't raise children. You are my wife? Behave like one." Nnenna's heart cracked like dry earth. Each night, she would stare at the ceiling, imagining herself in a classroom, chalk in hand, teaching little children. But every morning, reality dragged her back to the kitchen. Still, life brought her small joys. 3 children, Ediora, Chinidu, and Obi. They became her light. She whispered to them the stories her father once told her, planting in them the dreams she was never allowed to chase. But fate was not finished with her. One Sunday afternoon, after church service, she stayed behind to pray. The church was almost empty when a man approached her. He was in his early 30s, tall, dark-skinned, with the calm eyes of someone who had seen storms but refused to drown. His name was Emeka. A young lawyer, passionate about justice, known for fighting cases even the poor could not pay for. They spoke. At first, it was just polite greetings. But as weeks turned into months, their conversations grew deeper. Emeka listened to her like she mattered. He encouraged her when she confessed her love for books. He bought her novels, exercise books, and a pen. One evening, he told her, "Nnenna, your destiny is not finished. It is only waiting for courage. You can still learn. You can still teach." Those words lit a fire she thought had died forever. Secretly, she enrolled in adult literacy classes. By night, after the children slept, she would sneak out to a small hall, where women and men like her struggled to read and write. And she was brilliant. For the first time in years, Nnenna smiled not because of her children, but because of herself. But happiness, in her life, was always short-lived. One rainy afternoon, Chief Obidike returned from a trip earlier than expected. He walked into the bedroom and found Nnenna reading a book. On the first page, written in Emeka's handwriting, were the words, "To Nnenna, the woman whose dreams cannot die." Obidike's face darkened. He said nothing that night, but his silence was louder than thunder. The next morning, he locked her in the room and hissed, "If I ever see you near that man again, I will bury him alive. Do you hear me?" Fear gripped her heart. She tried to end the friendship, but destiny has a way of pushing souls together. Emeka kept appearing in her path, not as a lover, but as a savior of her spirit. But society has sharp eyes and sharper tongues. Rumors began to spread that Nnenna was seeing another man, that one of her children did not look like Obidike. Some whispered that Obidike had poisoned her father years ago just to marry her. The whispers grew into storms. And storms always destroy. One evening, the news spread across Enugu like wildfire. Emeka was dead. He had been found in his car, throat slit, blood soaking his white shirt. Police called it armed robbery. But Nnenna knew better. In her chest, she felt the invisible hands of her husband. She wept until her eyes were dry. Her children asked why she no longer smiled. She had no answer. That night, she packed a small bag, intending to run away with her children. But when she opened the door, two of Obidike's guards stood outside. She was trapped. Her world was collapsing. Her dreams were ashes. And so, she made a choice. At midnight, Nnenna walked to the village shrine in Umuk. The moon was red, as if the heavens themselves bled for her. In her hands, she carried three things: her blood-stained wrapper, a bottle of palm wine, a broken piece of chalk. She knelt before the shrine and cried, "If I cannot live my dreams, let my story become the dream of others. If I cannot be free, let my children walk free. And if I must bury my dreams alive, let the whole world dig them up and learn from my pain." The wind howled. The shrine fire flickered. The next morning, her wrapper was found by the riverbank. But Nnenna herself was gone. Some said she drowned. Others said the gods took her. No grave was ever found. Years turned into decades. Her children grew. Edora became a teacher, the very dream her mother once held. Chinedu became a lawyer, defending the poor, just like Emeka. Obi became a priest, carrying his mother's sorrow in every sermon. Together, they carried her story into every corner of Nigeria. In classrooms, in courts, in churches, they told of a woman who buried her dreams alive, but in doing so, planted seeds that grew into forest. Today, when young girls in Umuk sit for exams, they whisper, "Nnenna, give me your courage." Because though her body was never found, her story became immortal. Poverty can delay a dream. Abuse can silence a voice. Society can bury your worth. But destiny cannot die. And that, my children, is why you must never bury your dreams alive. Because one day, the world will come digging, and it will ask, "What did you plant in your silence, regret or legacy?"